Welcome to Data Project Hub. In this video, we will go through a SQL interview question. The question is, write a SQL to find the missing ID from the input table. And there is a condition given, that is, ID should have been continuous value starting from 1 to 20. Now let me query the table which I have created, and then let us go through the question once again. So here is the table which I have created. So this is the input table that we are having. So it consists of ID starting from 1 to 20, but the IDs are not continuous. So there are multiple missing ID in the input table. Now we have to write a SQL to find the missing ID from the input table. And since the condition is given, that is, the ID should have been continuous value starting from 1 to 20, we can either use these values as static value and write the query, or we can even write the query in such a way that we can pass the maximum and minimum ID to the particular query dynamically. So we will see the two methods in this video. So in the first method, we will write a query where we are hard coding the maximum and minimum value within the query. So we will see how to do that. And then we will move on to the second query where we are dynamically going to pass the maximum and minimum ID to the particular query and obtain the final output. So let us start with the first method, that is method 1. And in this method, we are going to make use of the technique called as recursive CTE. So we will start with a select clause, select, and we will write the base query for the recursive CTE. So here the first ID is 1 as ID. I will give a column name as ID. So this is the base query. Now we are going to write a union all clause, union all, and now we are going to write the recursive part of the query, that is select ID plus 1, put this in a parenthesis, and the column name will be the same column name which we gave in the base query, and this is taken from recursive CTE, RCTE. And now we will place the entire query inside a CTE which will become our recursive CTE. So with RCTE as this is the recursive CTE that we have completed. Now we have to write a where condition inside the recursive CTE so that whenever that condition is violated, the execution of recursive CTE should stop. So we will write a where clause, that is where rcte.id less than 20. So now we will simply write a select star from rcte, that is from the recursive CTE. Now let us execute this and see what is the output we are getting. Execute this. Now we can see that we have successfully created an output table where we have continuous values ranging from 1 to 20. Now in the question it's given that write a SQL to find the missing ID. So we have to find the missing ID from the input table. For that we will have to write a new join with respect to RCTE. That is, so here we are going to make use of the join called as left join with exclusion, where we will write the join such that it will fetch only values which are appearing in the CTE part and which are not appearing in the actual input table. So we will do a left join here, that is left join, and our input table is called as ID underscore tab. So this is the input table name. Paste it here. Now we are going to write the join condition, that is rcte.id equal id underscore tab dot id. So this is the join condition, and now we have to write a exclusion part within the query. For that we are going to write a where clause, that is where id underscore tab dot id is null. Now execute this and we will see what is the result we are getting. Execute this. Now we can see that we have obtained all the IDs which are not present in the actual input table. Now we don't require both the columns in the output. We only require one column, which is ID from the RCTE table. For that, we will modify the star such that rct.id will only be fetched in the final output. Now execute this and we will get the output. Execute, and now we have only id which are not present in the input table and which should have been present in the input table. So these are the id. So this is the first method. Now we will see a second method where we are going to dynamically pass the maximum and minimum id from the id underscore tab table, and then how to get the output based on that. And that query is going to be more scalable and that you can use in multiple cases. So our second method is going to be a dynamic method where we will pass the minimum and maximum ID to the query dynamically. So we will start with a select clause. Now we will fetch the maximum id from the id underscore tab table. That is max id underscore id as id from the table id underscore tab. So this is the input table that we are having, and now we are fetching the maximum id from that particular table. Execute this and we will get 20. So 20 is the maximum id from the input table. We will place this query inside a cte t1 as the first query. Now we are going to make use of a similar concept, which is the recursive cte, and write a second query, that is rcte as open and close parenthesis. And inside that we will first write the base query, that is select minimum of id from id underscore tab table, and this column we will name as id only. That is minimum id will be named as id, and now we are fetching the minimum id from the id underscore tab table, which is 1. Now we are going to write the union or within the recursive cte, and next is the recursive part that we are going to write, that is select id plus 1, place this inside a parenthesis, and now this column is also named as id, and this is taken from rcte, and now we are going to create an inner join with the rcte and the first cte that we created. So rcte inner join t1, and we are going to write the join condition based on id column from the rcte table and the t1 cte which we initially created. So rcte dot id less than t1 dot max underscore id. So this is going to be our join condition. Now we will simply write a select star from rcte. Now execute this and see what is the result we are getting. Ideally, we should get the continuous id starting from 1 to 20. Execute this. Let us see what is the output we are getting. Now we have obtained all the continuous id starting from 1 to 20 with respect to the minimum id and the maximum id. Now we have to write the same exact part which we wrote in the first query, that is the left join part, that is the left join with exclusion we have to write in the second dynamic query as well. So we will copy the same part, we will paste it over here, and now we are creating a left join with the rcte left join id underscore tab. So this act as the right table and rcte table act as the left table, and this is created on rcte dot id equal id underscore tab dot id columns. And now we are going to write the where condition. So this where condition is basically converting the symbol left join into left join with exclusion. So now if we execute this, we will get the output in such a way that we can now pass the minimum and maximum id dynamically into the particular query. Execute this, and now we have the id which were not present in the input table. Now instead of star, we will modify the query to get only one id column, which is from the recursive cte. Now execute this and we will get the exact same result which we obtained from the first query, but the change is that now we can dynamically pass the minimum and maximum id to the query and get the output in a dynamic way. So this is the second method. Here also we have obtained the same output, that is the missing id from the input table starting from 1 to 20. So missing ids were 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 15, 18 and 19. So these were the missing id from the input table. If you have some more interesting method, please comment the method. It will be helpful for others as well. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, subscribe for more. Thank you.